Back in the Sportsocracy here, and A-plus mock drafts are always more fun when you have teams with a shitload of capital. Let's go with the Detroit Lions. 4 picks inside the top 55 in this draft. And at number 6, number 18, number 48, number 55, they can add a lot to a team that is already on the rise.
Oh, absolutely. And I am now as comfortable with their first pick as damn near any team in this draft. Devin Witherspoon, cornerback out of Illinois.
6th overall.
Would you like to guess what the allowed completion rate for him last year was?
12%.
Okay, you're awful. It's 34.9, which is really, really good. Super sticky in coverage. The knock on him has been he's a little thin. Then he goes out and runs just a ridiculous, blazing 40. And I don't really have a knock on the kid anymore. I mean, 1 year of high-level production, but then you also got to look at the fact what was going on with that team, different scheme. He was being coached better by Brett Bielema, and that's where everything went through the roof. There's a reason they have several defenders that are going to be drafted in this class. I think he comes in as a 1 immediately, and this is who they have gone all in on. You look at every betting market, they are daring you to take anybody else because the chances are Tyree Wilson, Will Anderson, and Jalen Carter are all three going to be gone when they come up at 6.
At number 18 in the first round,
Jack Campbell, linebacker out of Iowa.
This feels high.
It's not. Look, it's not. This is a class. I've told you this time and time and time again. If you find a guy that you love, you better take him because their slot is just, it's not that big a deal. And to me, as we've gone on, Jack Campbell has pushed himself and pushed himself and pushed himself further and further past the Drew Sanders and the Trenton Simpsons. The only one really close to him at this point is Deion Henley to me. And Deion Henley's not going to go this high, but I also don't think he's this good. He comes in right away, can help you immediately. I don't know that he's ever going to be a great pass rusher, but he does everything else well. Covers well, good against the run, really instinctive, trusts his eyes. I don't think you can ask for anything more. But you take off my linebacker at 18. Yeah, well, there's only 4 of them. So, and when you come up at 48, they may all be gone. So, for me, I'm going to take a guy that I know what he is, and I can trust immediately.
2022 Butkus Award winner Jack Campbell at 18 to the Detroit Lions. All right, first of 2 picks in the second round, number 48 overall.
I know. We got more production from our tight ends. I've heard it all, okay? Just save it. Call me a fucking moron. I don't care. Sam Laporta, tight end out of Iowa. There is talk that he's going to go higher than this. I am struggling to figure out how you're going to get 3 or 4 tight ends in the first round. I just don't buy it. So I think one of them is going to fall, and this is just another weapon. I can add him. He comes in immediately. I think he's a much better blocker than other people do. I really do. I think there is some George Kittle to Sam Laporta. And I know that's lazy because they played at the same school. And I hate all those lazy-ass comparisons.
All tight ends play at Iowa.
They do. It's tight end U. There's a reason there's like 7 of them in the NFL.
Right.
He would come in immediately, add another layer. When he ran the 4.59, that's what really got me to start looking at him again because I thought he was a little heavy-footed. On tape. Is he ever going to be your lead blocker? No. But can he come in and do that, the wham block thing that George Kittle does so well? Absolutely.
At number 55, add to the offensive line, Steve Avila.
That's a guy I'm getting more fond of as time goes on. He is a motherfucking house. 6'3", 332 pounds. I think he's freakishly athletic for how big he is. And I think he can it's a developmental piece for Detroit because the line is already really good. This is just a piece down the line. They brought him in for a top 30 visit, which tells me when you have this much capital, you can really start looking a year down the line of, all right, this team's going to get expensive because Amon-Ra's going to want to get paid. We've got other guys on this team that are going to want to get paid. And so you start looking for those cheaper replacement guys. Steve Avila can play damn near any position on the line. And having that as your 6th offensive lineman is really something that comes in handy. And if you don't like Steve Avila going to the Lions, you should call Brad Holmes because he's the one that brought him in, not me.
Well, when a guy, allows 0 sacks and over 500 blocking snaps in a year,
That's pretty good.
it's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think that sucks.
Number 81 overall, third-round pick for the Lions, Carl Brooks, defensive end out of Bowling Green.
And this is a player, didn't get invited to the Combine. He was on the Amon-Ra St. Brown team, which is my favorite players in the draft because I had Amon-Ra St. Brown as a top 15 player in the draft when he came out and as the number 1 receiver in the class. Let's not talk about a couple of those other guys that were also really good because I had him ahead of them too. And he's proven me to be right. Carl Brooks, I think, is the same thing. I don't know if it's because he played at Bowling Green. I really don't know because the production's there. There's really nothing you could want from him that he hasn't given you. He may be a little bit of a tweener. I think he's a 3-4 defensive end or a 4-3 defensive tackle. And there's just really nothing that you can – I don't ding him on much except the level of competition. Can you be as dominant on the big stage as you were at Bowling Green? I think because you're playing in the MAC. So that's actually where I first started seeing him because we're so prone to bet Maction on Tuesday and Wednesday nights because we love football.
You were. Mr. Cheaper Than Oxygen, not betting
Hey,
Mac football.
I made a nut on Maction. Thank you very much.
In the 5th round, 152 overall, safety out of Cal, Daniel Scott.
This kid put himself on the map at the Combine, running a 4.45 at 6'1", 210 pounds. It got a lot of us to go back and look at the tape, and the athleticism is there. The character is there. You're going to have to round off some of the technique. 2-time team captain that everybody talks about. This is this is the guy you would want your daughter to marry because he's just apparently like the upstanding, charitable bastion of the community. And then I started watching the tape going, this kid's not bad. I mean, he probably projects as a special teamer early on, and then you try to round him into a role. But getting him here in the 5th round, I think, is great value.
In the 6th round, 2 picks, 183. It's going to be Ronnie Bell, wide receiver out of Michigan.
Well, if you have watched any of our draft videos, you know that I'm going to get a receiver into the Detroit Lions before it's all said and done. I have heard your cries of not to do it early, so here I take Ronnie Bell, 6 foot, $190. Physical limitations are going to be a thing. I think he will play his best football in the slot. He just really grinds. I don't know that he'll ever be great in the NFL. I think he's dynamic with the ball in his hands. He's really good at the point of the catch. I just think he's going to be physically limited. So I don't think he projects as anything better than a 4th receiver, and he's developmental at that. But he's a bulldog. He's the kind of guy I feel like Brad Holmes watches on tape and goes, that's a line. So, I mean, it's what Dan Campbell screams about all the time is I want guys with heart.
Right.
This kid came off an ACL early to come back to be a part of that Michigan team this year. Do I really need to say more when you think about what Dan Campbell says about this team?
No, not a whole lot. All right, at 194, final pick of the draft for the Detroit Lions as it sits right now in the 6th round. Dewan. Okay.
The S is silent.
Thank you. Dewan Johnson. I'm still prepping the pronunciations before draft night. I'll get it down. All right. Dewan Johnson.
I'm rooting for you.
Edge rusher out of Toledo.
If I wasn't a complete arsehole, I'd give you the pronunciation guide.
But you don't. You just let me figure this out on my own.
It's a lot more fun this way. Especially when you have to say Adabaware.
Juwan.
Nope. Dewan. Tweener. That's the big thing with him, and I don't know that he's athletic enough to make up for that. Mm-hmm. This is whatever team takes him, and he has been real popular in the pre-draft process. I think he's had 9 top 30 visits. Kid out of Toledo, played defensive end there. I'm not so sure that he doesn't project as one of those pass-rushing defensive tackles in the league in a 4-man front, and that's how I think Detroit would use him early on. He just comes in, see ball, get ball. The problem is that it's 6'2", 285, and then you throw up 24 reps on the bench. I'm like, okay, so you're not big enough, you're not strong enough yet to be a defensive tackle. Okay, and now I'm seeing that Joseph Asai with Cincinnati. This is bearing itself out as it's bared itself out over the process. There's a reason teams are so interested in him, because he has been good at getting after the quarterback in his career. I can't figure out where to put you. But I think Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn would love to have this kid on this Detroit Lions team.
The Detroit Lions are already in our top 10 for next year.
6.
It feels gross to say, but this is a really talented team. And like we said at the top, with 4 picks inside the top 55, you're going to have an opportunity to add a whole lot of talent to this team.
If you like these picks, if you hate these picks, if you just want to call me a big mulleted dipshit, feel free to do that in the comments. I answer all of those. We will have one more 7-round mock draft for every team coming out on the channel next week as we get ready for every pick live of the 2023 NFL Draft right here on YouTube.
Like this video, subscribe to the channel, share it out with your friends as well, and we will see you on draft night.